Hi, we're here again at Discount Water Softeners with a quick tutorial on how to remove the Genesis 2 control valve from your resin tank or from your filtration tank. This would be in the event that you needed to send in your control head for repairs or replace it. One of the first steps that you want to do with your control valve to assist in the process of removing the control head is to actually start a regeneration or a backwash. Now, to do that, you need to obviously have the control valve on and unlocked. If it's not unlocked, you need to push and hold the up and down arrows in for 3 seconds. Once that's completed, then you can push the second button from the left to start a manual regeneration. Now, if it's a water softener, you will need to advance that control valve once the regeneration starts past the brine and slow rinse stage. Now, to do that, you will need to wait until the control valve actually starts counting down that first stage. And once it starts counting down, you're going to hit that regeneration button again, and it'll move into the backwash stage. Now, if you just have a backwashing iron filter or pH neutralizer, any type of backwashing filter, you'll just need to push that regeneration button once, and it'll go right into backwash. Once either one of those types of control valves are in the regeneration stage or backwash stage, you're going to want to unplug the control valve from power. By doing that, you're going to allow the system to just stay in the backwash stage, and it will help loosen up the media inside of the tank in the event that the riser tube that runs down the center of the tank actually comes up during the removal process. It will allow you to then push that riser tube back down into place. And I'll explain that a little bit later in this video. Once the control valve is in backwash and has been backwashing for 20 minutes, you can then put the control valve into bypass using the bypass handle on the back of the control. Now I'm going to turn this just so you can see it. To put it into bypass, there'll be 2 arrows that show the inlet and the outlet on this, and all you want to do is turn it 90 degrees. Now, by doing that, what you're going to do is you're going to prevent yourself from getting wet and depressurize the system as well. So you can then safely remove the 2 U-clips that are between the bypass and the control valve. Okay, and then you'll be able to remove that control valve from the bypass. I'm going to leave it on here just because of demonstration purposes, but you will actually pull those 2 clips and pull the system away from the bypass, allowing the water to still be on and usable in your home. Once you do that, you're going to be able to turn the control valve on the tank in a left to right fashion so that it will loosen up, and once it's clear of the threads, you can then pull up on the head. Now, one of the things that I highly recommend is once it's clear of the threads to kind of wiggle and twist and pull up. Now, you'll see on here that there's an upper screen that was in place. One of the things you can do to help prevent the riser tube from coming up is to try and twist this off. And allow it to actually slide down the riser tube. Now, it will only slide down as far as the media in the tank, and you can always retrieve it later with a wire hanger. Most often it won't slide down because there's buildup on the riser. Now, if that riser tube does come up, you can then grab it with your hand or even a pair of channel locks and prevent it from coming up too high. Now, once you do that, if that riser tube is sticking up, you want to push it down as quickly as you can. Now, by doing so, that will allow the control valve to then be returned back into place without having the riser tube stick up, preventing it from being tightened down. Now, what's really important here is if you do have the riser tube come up, push it down as quickly as you can and get it as close to even with the top of the tank as possible. You may not be able to. If you are, as long as it's within about 3/8 of an inch above the top of the tank or even, you're going to be okay. If it's more than, say, 3/8 or a 1/2 inch above, you're going to have to try and either work it down by pushing it down more. You don't want to use a hammer or a mallet. You could break the bottom screen. What you want to do is either lay the tank down. You'll have to get some of the water out. You'll siphon some of the water out, and you can lay the tank down and roll it on the ground for a few minutes and loosen up the media further and try and work that down by twisting and pushing. The other alternative is if you have an air compressor. You can actually take a air compressor with the pointed end that where you can shoot air out of it, and you can actually force air down that center tube and cover it up with the rest of the area with your hand and try and work that down. The air will actually push the media away from the bottom basket and allow it to actually move back down. The center basket down at the bottom actually fits in somewhat of a dimple at the bottom of the tank. It's not connected. It actually fits kind of into a dimple. And if you can get it back into that same spot, then the riser tube will be low enough for you to get the control valve back on. If you have any other questions on this or need any other assistance, you can always email us at support@discountwatersofteners.com, and we'll be happy to help you. You can always give us a call, or you can even text in to 847-462-9000, and one of our support staff will be happy to help you. Look forward to assisting you, and have a great day.